Mike with the fuego.
It's your boy Coach T. Welcome back, Local Locker Room. You know how we do. We stay lit. Before we go any further, don't forget to follow us on our other social media and different platforms. I'm talking about our podcast. You can catch us on Spotify, Anchor, Pocket Cast, Google Cast, plus a few other more platforms. So be sure to follow our podcast and check us out. You can also catch us on Twitter and Instagram because that's where most of the players is at. They no longer use Facebook. That's for us old heads. So with that being said, we like to go on Twitter and Instagram and interact with the players, see what they're doing, see how they're feeling. So be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter, Local Locker Room VA as well. Also, make sure you slide by and check out our videos on our YouTube channel, Your Local Locker Room. That's where we like to post our videos from the interviews to the conversations and things of that nature to give you a visual of what went on when we was recording the podcast. You can also catch us on Facebook. You're definitely going to want to catch us on Facebook. Our Facebook group is where we tend to go live and we actually talk to, interact, bring in players, bring in coaches, even parents can voice their opinion on our Facebook groups. And that's what leads us to today. Yesterday on our Facebook Live, it was a very good topic. The topic was, should a high school coach be responsible for getting his players to the next level? Not physically, but academically, also as well as being that middleman and contacting them with recruiters and scouts and colleges and things of that nature. Is that a responsibility that should be on, is that a responsibility loop that should be on the head coach's belt on the high school level or any coach for that matter? Luckily, we was able to get a high school coach to come into the live and voice his opinion. And that's what we're about to watch. The conversation between myself and Coach Chris. Coach Chris is a coach out in Manassas, Prince William County. And Coach Chris has been coaching for years. From the youth level up to the high school level, I'm talking about at least 20 years of experience in coaching. So he knows what he's talking about. A lot of you parents are going to want to hear what he has to say. With that being said, we're going to get into this video with me and Coach Chris. But what do you feel about that topic? You coach youth, you coach high school. I'm sure this topic has come up multiple times in coaches meeting, coaches clinics, things like that. Is it the coach's responsibility on the high school level to be the middleman, or as some might say, messenger? Because I've seen some people that say it's not, say he's not supposed to be the messenger. But do you feel like the coach should be, like, that's one of the responsibilities? Should the coach be the middleman?
Absolutely. The coaches are the ones with the relationships with the colleges, right? It's not on these, these kids, like, some of these kids don't know the many opportunities that are available to them. A lot of parents have delusions of grandeur where they think their child is a Division I kid. Everybody thinks their child is a Division I kid, and that's few and far between. However, between Division I and going all the way to D3 NAA, there's a lot of football for kids to be played. So absolutely, I think that a coach should help facilitate his player to get to a higher level education. Even if the kid doesn't play football, get him in a position so that he gets his degree. That's for real. Because if you're not doing that, get out of coaching.
And that's crazy, because I feel like, to me, like me personally, because I come from the era where coaches did that. Like, they made sure, okay, this is our list of seniors this year. We need to make sure we get them somewhere. Like Absolutely. You said, even if we get them the financial aid and the financial help they need to get into a D3, even if we got to plug them in with a JUCO, we got to get them somewhere. And I personally don't feel like some of the stories that I hear about coaches, parents finding out later down the road when they do step in, which it sucks because parents aren't going to really step in and really pay attention to it until their senior year.
Unfortunately. And you know what? Unfortunately, some of these kids don't either. One of the mistakes that a lot of kids make is they don't understand how important your freshman year is. Your freshman year in high school is one of the most important years academically for the rest of your time in high school.
You know, I talked to, you know how you got these recruiting companies and stuff like that. I've actually spoken to several of them, and they've all said that if the kids understood that your freshman, if you get a high GPA your freshman and sophomore year, it makes it so much easier on you in the end.
That's right, because what you do is you leave yourself some cushion. If things don't go if things get harder, you go ninth, 10th grade, you're in a different math, you're in a different, civics class, it gets harder. You understand what I'm saying? So, and then here's the other thing is that I don't think that kids understand the work that you put in academically at the college level and the practicing wise at the college level. Because you get a lot of kids who, unless they're doing like some of the extra work where you got, work at the U, work wherever, and they're constantly moving, they are in for a rude awakening when they get to college. You know what I'm saying? And that's both academically and physically. Now, the one thing about college, and I try to tell everybody, get through high school, because the benefit you have in college is that you can have a class at 8 and your next class is at 2. And then maybe you have Tuesday off, and then Wednesday you have, you know what I mean? It's not this constant bam, 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 bam. So, get through high school first. But that freshman year is absolutely crucial.
Well, see, this is what I tell the youth, and it's funny because this is what I tell my youth players. I tell my youth players, especially my middle school kids, once they hit that about 11, I start telling them if they start focusing on their academics and their grades and developing a study habit, just like they develop a workout habit, then it doesn't feel like work when you get into the high school because it's routine. I've had a couple players that has agreed that high school got easier to them because it just became routine. Like if they played, like I tell the kids, if you play the game for 2 hours, I'll tell the kids how many hours you played the game for today. And they'll be like, I only played for 3 hours. And then I'll be like, well, if you had to play the game for an hour, you could have worked out on football an hour, and then you could have also studied for an hour. Now you knocked out all 3. Then it becomes a pattern. My cousin Blake is like that. It's a working out. To him, it's not working out. It's a pattern. It's just a habit. Oh, my body's going to wake up at 5 o'clock every morning because by 6 o'clock, it knows it should be in the gym.
Right. And now it becomes muscle memory. Now you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. It's how they do you in the Army. You know what I'm saying? And they wake you up at 4:30 in the morning. They get your muscles moving. You know what I mean? You're doing your PT. You come home. You start the day you're done by 2, 3. And that's
Right.
actually how it is in college. Because in college you might have, you'll get a 6 a.m. workout, a 10 a.m. practice, come back at 3, and then you're done for the day. But that it's intense in between,
In
that
between.
6 a.m. and you know what I mean? But for that intensity, you're getting a 4-year degree or you're getting a pathway to the NFL. I mean, those are the things, skills for later.
Right. 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 So see, you look at it the same way I look at it. You look at it as if, because you'll get, as crazy as this sounds, you'll get coaches. You'll literally get youth coaches nowadays that will say that it's not the high school coach's job, it's the parents' job to get the offers. And I'm like, how? They don't have, it's the parents' job to make sure that the child's academics is right. It's the parents' job to make sure he's at practice or at his workouts like he's supposed to. But as far as the communication with the universities, the parents don't have no communications with you. Like you said, majority of it, you got a lot of parents, contrary to what they'll admit and what they'll say, there's a lot of parents that will actually tell you when it's too late that, oh, I never thought of it. I didn't think he was going to make it this. I didn't think he, and that's the thing. Like, if you waiting until your senior year to try to get your son looks or try to be involved, it's too late. I'm not going to say it's too late, but you're going to have an uphill fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Now the other thing is this too, is like, with that is that parents, you know, be just as involved academically as you are, sports wise. Because there's a lot of parents that'll drive their kid to practice, but won't drive them to a tutor, or drive their kid to play 7-on-7, but won't get them that extra help. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And I'll tell you, You know, I've spoken to, dozen college coaches, met, you name it, I've met them all. And, a lot of them, what the first thing they ask, how's his grades? That's the first question. They don't ask how he is. They can look on Huddle for that. The first question they ask, how's his grades? How's he academically? Can he get through? Is it going to be too stressful?
And the curriculum is crazy because the standard it's so crazy. The standard, I realized that the standard, because I know when, again, it's been so long. I graduated in 97, but when I played ball and I was getting contacted and I was getting offers, a 2.5 was, oh, that's cool, we can get you in.
Now it's a 2.0. Now it's a 2.0. Yeah, so now it's a 2.0. You know what I'm saying? So you need a 2.0, and the SATs, it depends on what your GPA is, but you know what I mean? Like they want, like for a lot of us, it's I coach to create men.
Right.
I coach to create men to make my community better. Some of the kids I'm most proud of, and I've coached a couple of kids here at Manassas that went to the league, and I'm proud of them too. But I'm proud of the two kids that I know right off the top of my head that are police officers in the area. You know what I'm saying? That went through and got 4-year degrees, and they're police officers, and I'm just as proud. You know what I'm saying? Like that, because that's what it's about. It's about creating men for the next level. You know what I'm saying? So that the world is left a better place.
I can dig it, and that's why I say, like, one of the phrases I like to say a lot is, it's bigger than football.
Absolutely.
If you're just in it for football, you're and people always say, because I'll say the right reasons and people will be like, well, what are the right reasons, what are the wrong reasons? If you're in it for just football, you're already wrong.
Absolutely. I can tell you, my wife and I have had at least 4 kids that aren't ours. We only got 2. So 4 kids that we've raised, that I've coached, that come through this house, that we got them their diploma, and they're now better men for it. That, quite honestly, they wouldn't have got there otherwise. You know what I'm saying? So open your door. Sometimes you got to open your door as a coach. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a counselor. I pick kids up from jail. You know what I'm saying? All that.
You build
all that.
And you do what I like to say. You build bonds. You're not just coaching. Like, you're not just coaching the game. You're coaching, like, as I say, you're not just coaching the game of football. You're coaching the game of life.
Absolutely, 100%. And I have been, and one of the reasons I'm like that, because I have been on that other side. And I want to make sure that them kids don't take the path that I took to get to, you know what I mean? I'm a coach. Yeah, that I'm a coach.
I know exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? That I'm a coach, I'm lucky. That by the grace of God, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? So trust me, but I want to make sure that them kids don't take that same path. That's why I coach.
Correct, man. Listen, and that's me. That's the only reason I do it. I wasn't blessed. I was blessed with 2 girls. I didn't have no boys. But my whole thing was the life that I had chose, like the direction that I had chose. I seen how it would affect a lot of homes. So, like, now my thing is, this is my way to give back to those kids, make sure they don't travel that same path, man. Because
it just makes makes
so
the community better.
Wrong. It's so easy to do wrong and follow nowadays. It's just so easy. So I try to teach the kids, like you said, through football, not to do that.
What? And it's great, man, that you do what you do. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was, you know what I mean? Like, we were, you know what I mean? Like, I was there. If I could do both and still run my business and all that, I would. You know what I'm saying? Like, because there's nothing like starting kids, at 8, 9 years old, 7, 8 years old, and coaching. There's nothing like it.
Nothing. The development. Favorite. I always tell people my favorite part of the game is not the game itself. It's the development stage. Watching a kid, no matter what age it is, watching the kid. And that's why I personally say I have an open door policy, because I don't care if you have football experience. If you want to play and you have heart and energy, I love taking a kid that's parents say, be careful, he's never played, he's not going to be that good. And then all of a sudden, a year later, a couple months later, the parent is like, I didn't realize he was that. Like, that development part to me is the best part, man.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I've been lucky is in between time I've had a chance to coach a couple of special needs kids who were on the spectrum. And I'm gonna sit here and tell you some of those kids were some of the best players I've ever had. You know what I mean? Like and that's a special, because you know what, they're focused. They want to, you know what I mean? Like they're all about the game, that type of thing. Like, yeah, I've been lucky in that respect. So yeah, man, just all them years, and you know what I'm saying, all this, and just changing lives. That's what it's all about, man.
That's great. That is awesome. That is sweet. Listen, I'm telling you, that's what we do it for.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna come out and check y'all out, man, when y'all get out the games again.
Yeah, we rocking. We supposed to be rocking again in the spring. We're gonna get it jumping. We're gonna get it in. I can't wait. We didn't have it this fall, so I really can't wait the fall. Not having it this fall really set us back. So we definitely got to do it in the spring so that we're ready to compete the next following fall.
Absolutely, man. And I, you know what, you said something the other day. I was listening to you, and I just I'm sitting here just so appreciative of how you are engaged with the community. You make a bigger difference than you can possibly imagine just by doing these little things and stuff like that, because you keep people engaged. You understand what I'm saying?
I appreciate
you're MVP,
that.
homie. Seriously, you're MVP. Keep people engaged, keep the kids and youth engaged, and I'm loving the game. And that's going to come back on you tenfold.
I appreciate it, Coach. Thank you for coming back on again. I'm sorry for the mess up earlier, but I appreciate your input. I'm gonna try to get the b-ball player back on here again. Again, good luck this year, man. And
Oswald Park High School, check us out.
Most you know I'm coming when it drops.
All right, man, appreciate it.
Fumble the handle, my brother he geeking the crash on. Throw him the oop, now he feel like the Hulk. He ready to smash on.